being thin is a skill. It's not something that you're just going to do starting tomorrow, right? You don't just all of a sudden become thin because tomorrow's Monday and you decided you're just going to become thin. You can make a decision and start working towards it. Kind of like if you decided, I want to play the piano. And so what you do is you don't just become an instant great piano player tomorrow. You commit to the process of becoming a good piano player. And it's no different with your weight loss. And this distinction is really important because the diets are always filling your head to make you believe that as soon as you make the decision, you can just become an expert thin person, an expert at losing weight. And that's crazy. There's nothing in the world that you just make a decision, I'm just going to do it, and then tomorrow you're great at it. And no one approaches it this way because the diets are always telling you that the only thing you're missing is the plan. And if you just, and then you just follow it and use your willpower, and that's how you succeed. And that's total bullshit. You have to practice all the skills that allow you to follow the plan. You see, knowing what to do is not your main problem, right? You know enough right now here watching this about what you should and shouldn't need to lose weight. The problem is you can't get yourself to do it consistently, you see? So it's learning these soft skills of how to motivate yourself, how to deal with the ups and downs of life that impact your eating, and your weight loss. And so it's about understanding the more subtle aspects of weight loss that is the real process that's going to bring you to your goal. It's not about having more nutritional information or more exercise plans. Those things are not the main thing stopping you from losing weight. And so once you reframe this process of one of developing the skill sets, the mindset, the habits, the routines, the thought patterns, the emotions of a thin person, now you've set yourself up on the path of mastery, and you've set yourself up for success. Because the idea that you're going to start tomorrow on Monday perfect and then just maintain that perfection so you lose all the weight is crazy. You see what I mean? Like, that concept is what's keeping you stuck more than anything else, is this idea that that's it, tomorrow I'm going to do it. Tomorrow you can start doing it, but you're not just going to do it. And again, once you realize this distinction and start on the path of mastery, of consistent improvement, of practicing to be thin, that's when you start to get amazing results, because that's a much more accurate description of what is going on here, right? It is not a process of just making a decision. Because think about it. What other area of your life would you do that? Right? You want to play the piano or the guitar? That's it. Tomorrow I'm going to be a guitar player. No, you're not. No, you're not. You don't have guitar. You don't have the calluses on your fingers. You don't have the muscle strength. You'll practice for a day and your hands are going to be sore, and that's what you're doing metaphorically with weight loss. You're just saying, I'm going to go right into it and I'm just going to be perfect. No, you're not. So once we recognize that, now we can be more strategic. And this is where the real amazing part of this approach starts, is that instead of trying to do everything all at once, right? Because the typical dieter is starting Monday, 50, 60% calorie cut, right? And it's so intense. And they think they're just going to maintain that calorie cut until they get to their goal weight. No, you're not. So once we recognize it's a longer path and plan, then you can start off slowly, right? Because again, if we go back to playing the piano, if I say, I'm going to play the piano and I'm going to be really good at it right away, I'm going to play 8 hours a day. No, you're not. You're going to play 8 hours the first day, maybe. And the second day, your finger's going to be cramped up like that. You're going to be able to move. So it's the same thing you're doing with your weight loss. You're so overcorrecting that by the second day, you're exhausted and overwhelmed. Okay. So what's the alternative? The alternative is that you approach it like you would anything else you want to learn in your life. Any other skill you want to develop, you take a little bit out at a time. Right. So maybe instead of cutting 50, 60% of your calories, you cut 10, 20%. Maybe you work on one bad habit, get some headway with it, then work on the next one. That's a normal, typical approach, right? If I'm playing guitar, I'm not going to learn all the chords, all the scales, all the timing, all the strumming patterns, all on day one, right? That's impossible. Everyone would agree with that. But when it comes to weight loss, that's what you're expecting, you see? So I'm making such a point out of this because we've all been so hypnotized by the diets to think, oh, I'm just going to do it tomorrow. I'm just going to do it. No, you're not. And so once we change that paradigm, it sets you up for success, because now, yeah, you have to have a little more patience with it. Sorry. But once you get over that fact, now you can strategically, systematically improve all the little things that bring you to being a thin, healthy person that you want to be. And ironically, it's a lot easier It's a lot easier to master your weight and get on this path than it is the weight loss path, because the weight loss path is one of overcorrection, intensity, and overwhelm, and trying to do it all at once. The path of mastery is slow and steady. It's kind of just doing a little bit more each day, constant, consistent improvement. And that is something that is way more comfortable and manageable for the average human being. Okay. And so if you're still questioning, again, I suggest look at the results you've gotten. What has kicked you off the path? It's usually a feeling of overwhelm, stress. It's too much. It's too hard. And so if you start approaching it with this more slow, steady approach, there's this saying, right, that people overestimate how much weight they can lose in a month and underestimate how much weight they can lose in a year. But as you start orienting yourself to longer time frames, to a more slow, steady approach, you really, truly set yourself up to experience results that you have never experienced in your entire life. I promise you. So get this in your mind and start practicing being thin. Pick one or two little things that you can start to work on and improve and get into your life, and then work on the next one. And when you take this approach, I think you're going to enjoy it and you're going to get better results than you've ever gotten in your life. So I hope this helps you.